Hi, in today's video I'm going to start working on the face frame for the cabinet and shelving unit above the bed in my bus. Let me first give you a little bit of an overview of what I'm doing and how I'm setting up the shelf. If you're familiar with building cabinets, which I am not, I'll admit, this is new to me. You've got your face frame that's going to go all around the edge, and then the doors will go in front of that. You may not be able to see in the background, but my brother's got a ton of that he's working on. What I'm doing, I am doing a face frame, but you can see this piece here, the whole frame is going to be this whole length, which is a little over 60 inches. Now, this left side, the reason I'm making this one solid piece is I kind of have an issue with the wall here, and I may not end up using a door on this side. It's going to be a storage area in behind of what I've done so far then is I have cut out the pieces that are going to go along the top, these two right here. This will be sanded down. I have determined at this point that I'm going to have 3 doors. Now what I have started doing is using this tool. Don't ask me what it's called, I forgot already. But what it allows you to do is to drill angled holes into the wood. Again, I don't know the specific terms. I'm not a carpenter in any way, shape, or form. So my brother had to show me how to use this. So I've done these 2 here. I'm going to be doing the same to this and this. Everything will be glued and screwed together. What I plan on doing for the doors, I have several pieces of this. I believe this is very light pine board, which will be planed down and sanded quite a bit. The reason I'm going with this instead of what you would see for traditional doors is this is going to be in keeping with the rustic look that I have in the bus. Alright, now that I've got all the corner holes pre-drilled, the next step is going to be to mark the locations for these pieces here, because this is what we'll be separating and the doors mounting to. Now the other thing I'll point out is that right now this whole face plate is what you might call upside down. The better side is on the other side, so I want to do all my drilling on this back side here and marking out about equal distance where the doors will go. So I'll be having 3 doors. Alright, so let me outline what I've done here a little bit, which you saw in the video. I have some self-drilling screws, obviously. Hex head, I don't think that really matters. But with these placed in position and some glue, I have attached the face frame together. Now this side, I'll have to be careful of taking it out because this is going to be heavy. It would fall off the end. But once this is in place up on the shelf unit, this is not going to be an issue at all. I'll just have to be careful with it. So what I did with these is I placed these in a position. I'll double check it. 11 inches, 11 inches, slightly more 11 inches space here. But now these, for the most part, will be nice and evenly spaced. My plan is, for example, 2 of the doors will open like this, and then on this side, most likely this door will open this way towards this end. Alright, let's do a little careful demo here of this. This is the back. So when I lift this up and bring this out to the bus, this will be attached as the face frame, and my doors will be on the front here. And what I'm going to be using for doors are, I have this pine wood. I'm going to cut it, plane it down, and fit it so that I have 1, 2, 3 doors that will be mounted to the front of this right here. Now, what I will have to do is 2 of these are not wide enough. Alright. And 3 of them are too wide. So what I will need to do is to find the right width and the center piece, or I may take all 3, I haven't decided yet, to cut these down so that they're the right width to go over the doors here. Alright, let me update you on what I'm doing at this point, what you just saw. I planed this one down to get it to a smoother finish. The reason that I am running these through the saw this way and this way, I'll have to do a little bit on the edges as well, is to create a smooth side so that when I glue these together, they're going to hold really well, because you don't want that coming apart. It's just too rough before. So I'm going to keep doing that with the rest of these. I get all smooth edges, and then the next step will be, after planing them down, getting clamps and then gluing these together and letting them set. Alright, so I have had in the previous video, or it could be last night depending how I do the video, I've had these 3 planed down, I've had glued in the center. So now the issue is going to be is how well did the glue hold, because some of these were slightly off in the center. So I'm going to start taking these, disassembling all of these clamps, and we'll see what we got, because then I need to start sanding down both sides a little bit smoother and the edges before I do painting. Now I think what I'm going to do for my paint colors are, I have blue and a gray, because I want for the trim, but I do want something lighter for the actual doors themselves. So that's my plan right now. I don't think that's going to change, but let's get all this disassembled. Everything disassembled. Seems to be fairly secure. Nothing seems to be falling apart. 2 of the doors remain pretty flat. This one's just actually, this one's fine. This one's fine. Now this one here has just a very, very small amount of an offset to it, but that will still be all right. It's very, very slight, and I may even have some kind of little soft pads on those, so when they close, they're not banging shut on the wood. So the next step is going to be sanding the frame and the doors down. All right, so this is the going to be the front side of my face frame. I did a little goof, but I think it'll be all right. I was supposed to flip this piece around. The other side was actually the better side. However, I think once I sand it down, it'll look good. So I've got this, I've got a makeshift table clamped here, and I want to keep this from moving. It might be alright on its own, but you can always sand this section after. I'm using a clamp and a spare piece of wood here because I don't want to ruin the front of this. And I just want this to stay in place. Alright, let's see what we can do here. part for the doors, I'm getting ready to place the location that I'll need to drill holes for these handles. So what I've done is I've actually taken the screw out of the back. I've already done the first two, but I'll show you what I'm doing on the third one I did on these first two to mark the spot. I'm trying to find my center using this here. So it's a little 8 3/4, so it's a little over 4 1/4 heading down this way. I mean, that's about as close as I'm going to get to it. I could go a little bit further just to be on the safe side. And of course it moves all the time. Let's do it this way. And I also want to go 1 3/4 in. So I'm going to slide this over like this. Because what I want to do is I don't want to have it so far in, but at this location it might be enough to miss this area underneath here and make it easier. So the last step to this, I'm going to double check my measurements, make absolutely sure I got it in the right location. I want all three about as close as I can get, and then I'm just going to press down on this in a little bit of a circular motion. Now you won't be able to see it, but it does make a slight imprint, which is exactly what I need. So the next step is going to be to drill the holes prior to painting, because I don't want to drill a hole and then actually chip off some of the paint. So we're going to get ready to do that next. Let's see if this will fit through. Actually, I want to show you exactly why I drilled through the top first. See, that's now you're not going to see it no matter what, but had I painted first and then gone through, I could have encountered this problem here, this splintering up, which is exactly what I wanted to avoid. This is the back. Nobody's going to see this. So this screw will go right down here, and I might need to countersink that to get it to reach the handle. So let's try the handle here. It might be just enough to grab a hold of that. Yeah, actually that's going to work out much better than I thought. And when this is sitting down here, that's plenty distance. Alright, so I'm going to do the next two and take this handle back off for now because I won't need this any further. My initial painting is done. I have the blue on the face frame. I have the gray on the doors. Alright, for the next step on my doors, I have these hinges that I'm repurposing from an old cabinet this is sitting on. What I'm going to do is I am going to pre-drill just a very small hole to start with. So these screws are easier to put in place. I'll be doing that by hand. Alright, now that I know this setup will work, what I've done is I've used this as a guide piece so that on each door the hinges will be matched up with the top and bottom be even. Using this because electric or a battery drill will just be too much and could cause these to strip out, which is not to say that it's not fixable. And then as I do each of these, I'm going to fan fold them, cover them up in this towel to keep them from getting scratched. Alright, I talked about before they're doing the brush and the roller thing. Now this already has a couple layers using the brush method. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of paint to this, and I want to see what this is going to look like on the top using the roller instead, to see if it's going to give me a little bit better effect. Might end up looking nicer, who knows, but we're about to find out. So it didn't take long to put this layer on. Now granted it's not dry yet, but already I'm liking it infinitely better than the brush look, and I think this will give it a nice smoother look. Now I was still looking for the dull blue. I like this blue. I thought it'd be a little bit duller, which I was looking for, but I'm still happy with this. If I don't have more of these, I'm going to get a couple more. It'll be worth the wait to do the rest of the layers with the roller. I'm going to see if I can get my face frame installed, possibly the doors. Alright, one interesting thing I want to point out. Right now it's middle of February 2020, wintertime, and although the temperature outside is a little above 29-30 degrees, right now the sun is hitting the south side of my bus. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. I have actually the door back open again. That heat alone is making the inside of my bus 64 degrees, which is kind of nice to know, because if I'm winter somewhere, I might not have to run so much heat if I position the bus directly, which is one of the reasons why I have windows on one side, closed off on the other. Summertime, obviously that part would face the sun. Alright, so let's get going on the face frame. Now this particular face frame, I am going to be using L brackets to hold everything in place. So what I did first is I held this up the location I needed. I took a marker and I marked on the back where I'm going to need to put L brackets. So the first step will be to position these L brackets all along here, and then put this back up and mark the spot. I want to pre-drill some holes to make it easier to put the screws in. And I also, what I want to do is, I didn't do pocket hole screws in this, which I would have liked to have done. I'm going to use, I want to use the longest screws possible without going through. So between this washer and the depth of the L bracket, that should take care of my issue of not going through the front of the face frame. So I'm going to start putting these in, and then we'll go to the next step. Alright, so I have my L brackets on the back. The next thing is going to be getting this to fit into place, and then marking where I will need to put the screws in for the L brackets in behind. And again, I'm going to tap this in, of course. It's a good snug fit, which I like. Alright, so I want to show you something, a little trouble I'm running into on this face frame, probably because I didn't take into account these screws, whether these are even flat ones sticking out, is they're hitting inside the face frame, which is preventing this door from closing completely. Now on this side I was able to remove the top and bottom, but I will have to do a little bit of countersink where those spots are, especially on this side, because at the moment I can't close the door at all properly. I have enough blue paint. I'll be able to touch this up. Once I countersink that, everything will be all set. Alright, so here's the countersink I've done for each of these. I will do the rest in the same manner so that I'll have everything properly secured for the doors over the long term. In case I didn't show you this part, it'll be hard to see, but what I did is I went ahead and put these screws back in, opened and closed the door, pressed on this side a couple of times, and so I think you can see these marks right here I'm using to create my countersink so the door closes normally. Alright folks, I think it's safe to say to bring this video to a conclusion for the face frame above the bedroom area. I use the same method, virtually the same as far as placing these latches on each side. The only thing different from this side I had to do from the kitchen was to bevel out and then darken those beveled out or countersink spots so these screws don't hit so the door shut normally. Now since I'm using repurposed wood and I ran out of the a lot of what I needed, this one is slightly smaller, which is fine, but I tried to keep them all the same height at the bottom. And now this gap area here, again, was an issue with wood and sizing, but that's fine because what I'm going to have on the left side here is stuff that I don't use very often, that I almost probably never need to get to. Who knows, things could change, but I always have the option in the future of adding a door into this section. So I hope you like this particular video for the face frame above the bed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I will also be placing links below for my other hobby. I love writing fantasy and sci-fi novels. I do have several self-published. I hope you'll at least look into those, and if it's something you like, they're available in both Kindle and paperback format. Thank you for watching.